Oh, that's not good. Not the greatest start, Jack. Get your stuff together. All right. Okay. Take two. Okay. What am I gonna say? I forgot everything to say right now. I'm making a Leatt review, or I basically have all the footage. I'm just gonna be talking about the gear, some pros, some cons, some things I liked about the gear, some things I didn't. Gear I was using was closeout gear from 2024. I feel like it still could help someone out that's looking into buying Leatt gear, even though they have made some changes. But I feel like it could give them, it will give the viewer that's wanting to get some Leatt gear a pretty solid representation of kind of what Leatt's all about with their products. I use their Camelback. I use their boots, jersey, helmet, and gloves. I use 2 different jerseys and pants. And yeah, I felt like I got a pretty good taste of their gear. I've used their chest guards in the past too. All around great company. Definitely up there with some bigger up brands. Really impressed that they make almost anything and everything you can get gear wise. So that's another cool thing with them. You can just get everything. But anyways, I'm going to stop this very long introduction and get right into it. I'm going to start off with what they call their Leatt Moto HydraDri WP 2.0 hydration. I do believe that this hasn't been updated. Actually, I'm pretty confident. This hasn't been updated. Not the nicest hydro pack I've used necessarily, but it got the job done. This specific one, the specific model I was using had 5.0 liters of storage, super lightweight. It wasn't too heavy. I mean, even with all the tools and the water in it. Really liked how much storage it had. I do remember the storage being really good. Pockets freaking everywhere. A really cool feature was you could have the nozzle itself either over your shoulder, under the shoulder, on whatever side you want. Like, in my opinion, it's a super well designed pack. Got one size, kind of fits all. I really liked how comfortable it was. It fit good. I've put on some brands that don't fit good at all. No matter what I do, no matter how I set up the straps, like it's always like nagging on my neck or something, or just doing something that's super annoying. And this pack was honestly very solid all the way around. Some cons I have about it is the water bladder. It's a weird design that I can't explain at all. I personally don't like it. Some people might like it. Some people may find it easier to do it. Braxton Hinsey and Cale Whitcomb can preface the fact that I couldn't do it when I first got the pack, and that was training for Grinding Stone last year. Just learned how to do it, couldn't do it, and Braxton had to do it for me like every day. But we don't talk about that. Really cool features. They have like a special foam pocket on whichever side of the pack it's on. But the crappy thing is that most phones, unfortunately, don't fit in it. Like, you have to have like basically not an iPod, but it's about this big. Not that big. Kind of useless if you have a modern phone, but cool feature. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is the gloves. I was using the 1.5 GripR. Not sure if they still make it. Honestly, can't really go wrong from gloves with Leatt. In my opinion, they make some of the best gloves out there. Super comfortable, fit my hands really, really well. I do kind of have tiny person hands, so keep that in mind. You might want to size up. But they have something that's really cool. It's called their Nano Grip. And it makes it so they don't put any rubber or anything on the palm or the fingers or anything. I like that a lot. I don't really like gloves with a ton of rubber on the palm and everything. It just feels weird, especially when I'm modulating the clutch while I'm riding. It's like my finger wants to stay, like, I don't know how to explain it. If you're picky with that like I am, then you understand. But I like their Nano Grip technology. They have a really cool touchscreen function as well. Most gloves, you have to like lick your finger or something to get it to work a little bit, or just freaking take your gloves off. But honestly, it worked really, really good. If I had to send text out, I had to call someone, make a video, pretty seamless with the touchscreen work. Some pros are they're very, very comfortable. The most comfortable glove, at least that I have ever worn, in full honesty. Fits, like I said, fits really well. Well, for me it did. You might need to size up if you have bigger hands. And yeah, palm is plain, like having a plain palm. Then the only con that I could think of is they do wear out pretty quick. They are on the thinner side. It's something to expect with thinner gloves. They wear out a little bit quicker, and that's all right. Next thing I'm gonna go over is their Moto 8.5 composite helmet. I didn't get the carbon one, so I don't know. I do know it's lighter, but I don't know how it feels while I ride and do stuff. But very solid helmet. All around, good helmet, good technology. I've had a good amount of concussions in my tenure, so I don't like to mess around with my helmets. I like to wear a proper helmet that has proper technology that I trust. And the technology that I'm talking about it's called their 360 turbine technology, and it is patented for them. And their whole theory with it is like the turbines that are those blue circles absorb the energy of impact much better than a helmet that doesn't have those, from what they've done in their technology. In my opinion, when it comes to helmets, it's very important you find a helmet that works for you. Any of the top helmets like 60, Fly, Arai, Bell, Leatt, just any of those high quality helmets, it's all different technologies for the most part, but all kind of doing the same purpose. So I wouldn't go with this helmet just for their turbine technology. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Something that I really liked about this helmet was how well it ventilated. It ventilated really good. There's been some helmets where I've had on and they just don't ventilate at all. And especially when you're getting in those hard enduro situations, or just out riding single track, or out in the desert riding or desert racing and stuff like that. I always love good ventilation through my helmet, so I'm not feeling like a baked potato in there. I also have a 3-year replacement program. That's pretty sick. Some pros about this helmet is that it is very lightweight. I love a lightweight helmet. I don't like wearing a heavy helmet where it's just my neck feels like it's gonna like die. It was a quick break-in time. Some helmets I've put on and it takes like a week to break in, and it sucks because you're freaking like chipmunk and you're like that. Not a good experience. Leatt has shortened that somehow by a lot. Like after a couple rides, helmet's totally good to go. Awesome visor too. Huge fan of their visor design. If I remember correctly, I believe that it's kind of like a snap-on visor, so there's no screws or anything keeping it in. In my opinion, that's better if you were to get into a bad wreck. The visor can just kind of go like, instead of possibly causing your head and neck to go into angles you don't want it to go to. Some cons about this helmet is that I personally do not like the helmet pads. For me, it was difficult to put the helmet pads in and out. I've always kind of had issues with helmet pads. It's just me. Especially if you do wash your helmet pads a lot, which I do recommend. I'm not going to say any names, but it's kind of nasty not to wash your face pads. But as you take them out, put them back in, as with most helmets with a regular system that's not magnetic or something and super duper fancy, the little nubs that latch into the helmet as you put the face pads in, those like to either break or start to bend or get weak, and it just makes it harder and harder. So if you are washing them a lot, get an extra set of face pads. Thank me later. Helmet itself was a little bit uncomfortable for my liking. Helmets, I mean, kind of as I said earlier, helmets are kind of a weird thing. Everyone has different head shapes. Someone might have the same head size, but their face could be square. My face is like a freaking banana, it's long. So different helmets work for different people. This helmet, personally, did not work the best for my head shape. It fit well, it worked well, but from a comfort standard, it wasn't the absolute best, at least for my head shape. So take that into accountability as well. Also, I don't remember if the chin piece was removable or not, but there's a chin piece that comes stock on the Leatt helmets that makes it super difficult to eat food. It's like you're trying to freaking, I don't know, it's like
almost playing like Jenga, but reverse. Like you're trying to put something in the Jenga tower. Anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about.
but it was just super horrible to try and get food
in the visor in your mouth.
I mean, some people that might not be an issue because they just take the helmet off and eat. I don't really like taking the helmet off that much. So that kind of sucked whenever I tried to eat a snack. On the side of the trail, and they also, I'm not sure if it's with all of their helmets, but I know at least with their 8.5 and up, that they give you free matching goggles with it as well. I don't know of any other brand that does that. I personally think that's very cool. Very cool that they do that. I feel like more brands that do make both should do that. Next thing I am going to talk about is the goggles. It was their Velocity goggle. It's their 5.5 Enduro. And some good things about it is they have like a ventilated Enduro lens, kind of gets more airflow in there. They have 170-degree wide vision lens, so you can see more. There's been some goggles I put on and you just can't really see around you too well. These goggles worked really well. They also have a permanent anti-fog double lens. They still fogged up on me. Well, it's to be expected in hard enduro. No matter what goggle you wear, you will fog up one way or another. But definitely better than a lot of the goggles I've worn in the past. Some goggles you have on for 2 seconds, like you're on the start line, have them on for 2 seconds, banner's up, you can't see, banner goes down, you get a horrible start. It happens sometimes if you're not using a good goggle. They also have a self-draining open lower frame design for sweat. I'm going to kind of get a little bit more into that later because I'm a big sweater. And they also have something called OTG, over the glasses fit. Super nice for people that wear glasses while they ride. So if you are one of those people, the Leatt goggle will be a great option for you. Some pros about the goggles is they're super comfortable. I believe they have a triple layer face foam. Big fan, super soft, fit well on my face. And goggles is kind of the same thing with the helmets regarding face width, face length. Any goggle will work for anyone, but I know that some goggles pinch my nose pretty hard just because of the shape of them. I didn't have that issue with the Leatt goggles. They just kind of sat on top of my nose. They didn't pinch my nose like this or anything like that. The only con I could think of about the goggle is I had a huge issue with sweat just going all over my lens. Like I said, I sweat a lot. Some people, well, most people don't sweat as much as me, so you might not have that issue. But if you do sweat a lot, this could be a possible issue with these goggles. Even though they literally made a feature for sweat and for dirt and stuff, it was still a problem of mine. So that was my biggest turnoff with those goggles, but other than that, outstanding goggle. Super happy with it other than the sweat going in my lens. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the Leatt knee brace socks. Full honesty, some of my favorite knee brace socks. They fit well, they're comfortable, and they lasted a lot longer than a lot of the socks I've used. And I've used a good amount of brands. Something that's really cool that they have is they have their FlexLock stitching. I'm a big fan. I don't like using a sock without FlexLock stitching, which if you don't know what FlexLock stitching is, it's essentially stitching, but it's like compressed like a pancake. You don't feel the stitching really at all, nor do you really see it. You still see it, but it's not like any normal stitching you see on clothing. Some pros of it is they're very, very comfortable, and they
stay up too. They stay up. Even if you get the right size with some brands, they freaking fall down while you ride. Your knee braces on, your legs raw, and you stop riding, you have rashes all over your legs, and then you get in the shower after, the warm and hot water, and you're like, ah.
You don't want that. The Leatt socks, you won't get that. They stay up. It's the best thing ever. And the only con I could think of was if you don't like it being too high. Like, it went pretty high on my thigh. Some people like that, some people don't. For me, I like it a little bit lower, but that's cutting hairs here now. That's the only con that I could think of. And you could freaking put it lower if you want and just deal with a little bit of scrunch. But some of my favorite knee brace socks, I highly recommend you get some of those if you're looking to get some knee brace socks. I believe they have a newer model now. Forget what they call it, but the model that I used was the 5.5 FlexLock. It's still their second newest model, and that gets pretty overlooked when it comes to the boot game, which don't really understand too much. It is a very high quality boot. It could be compared to CD, Garnet, TCX, Alpine Stars, like all the top dogs in the boot game. Leatt could compete with them. In my opinion, it's not the favorite boot that I have used, but I know people that really enjoy the boot. Some of my thoughts is the boot was incredible when it was brand new. Once I broke it in, it was really good. Really enjoyed the boot, but I do feel like it wore out quicker than desired. Hinges got tired quicker. They have like the grippy inside part of the boot that you latch on with the bike that wore out quicker than I wanted to. And the overall quality of the boot honestly went down quicker than desired. I mean, you'll get that with any boots as you use them. They have something called their FlexLock system. Really cool part of the boot. If I had the boot here, I would show you. But essentially what it is, reduces the sideways ankle forces a ton, and it does make the boot a little stiffer. And it's a little piece they can either take out or put in. It's pretty neat. It's a great idea, but at least for me, I just left it in all the time because I like having as much protection as possible. Then from their calculations, the lockout movement gives up to 37% reduction of ankle forces and up to 35% reduction of forces to the knee. That's what they said, and they said that's what they compared to some of the most high-end boots, like some of the boots I said earlier in the video. They have a really neat inner liner. It's a 3D liner with their anti-slip reinforcement. I have no idea what that is, but it makes it so you don't have as much heel lift as you ride. Next thing I'm going to talk about is their Ultra Weld jersey. I really liked this jersey. It's their top-notch, top-of-the-line jersey. I know that they've made even more changes to it that have made it even better the past 2 years. It's their highest level jersey that they offer. They have a great fit. In my opinion, they fit really good, super nice snug fit. Some people like having a baggier fit. If that's the case, don't get the Ultra Weld. It's a pretty snug fit, which I like. Super light feeling, but why the fit is so good, it's got like a 360 stretch fabric, so no matter what you're doing out on the trail, catching bikes, throwing bikes, walking a section, whatever you may be doing, it's got you covered. Most likely won't rip from those movements. Some of the pros about this jersey is it's very lightweight. It's very comfortable. The big issue, I mean, everyone has with lightweight jerseys with them ripping easier. Honestly, this one stood up the best comparatively to most of the lightweight jerseys I've used in the past. Super impressed with the durability of it. Then some of the cons, well, the only con I could really think of was those things are a nightmare to take off when they're wet, I'll be honest. Especially for someone that sweats a lot like me after you do a ride day, drenched in sweat, things like a freaking wetsuit. I remember thinking one time taking it off about using
A razor just to cut it in half.
Don't let that completely turn it off for you. Other than that, super great jersey. Just sucks to take off. Honestly, if you were to size up, it'll still feel like kind of a normal jersey because it is a little bit more of a tighter fit. So I recommend doing that if you want a little bit of a baggier fit and don't want as much trouble taking it off if it's wet. Then the Leatt Ultra Weld pants. Some of my favorite pants. It's fit, well, basically the same thing as the Ultra Weld jersey, but in pants form. Something that's really cool is they have like super sticky rubber that's like in the waistline. So if you're like tucking your jersey in, you don't have to worry about your jersey getting untucked as often or as quick into a race. I know people really care about that. I personally don't care about it that much. I tuck it in, if it comes out, it comes out. But having kind of that extra rubber.
I just run out of clips for the rest of the video, so you're gonna need to stare at my pretty and masculine face for the rest of it.
In there, I mean, and if I'm thinking correctly, the jersey has that as well. So you kind of rubber, both sticky rubbers kind of on each other, and it just stays in your pants better. Some of the pros of it is it's super comfortable, super stretchy, and I put strong in their own right. The reason why I say strong in their own right is that when it comes to super stretchy pants,
They're not cooked after one ride.
especially when you're in hard enduro terrain and your knees always on the ground and you're always like doing something, they're strong in their own right. They lasted a lot longer than any other lightweight pant that I have used in the past. And again, the only con that I could think of was it did wear out quicker than I desired. But you'll just get that, especially with the hard enduro riding. You're riding in rocks, river beds, pine trees, aspen trees, anything and everything in nature, your gear's touching. So no matter what gear you have, it's going to wear out quicker than you want to. So if you were just riding motocross, you'd probably get quite a bit more time out of it. Next thing I'm going to talk about is their Leatt Enduro jersey. This is kind of their off-road lineup. This is what they recommend you use for the single track and the desert riding and the hard enduro stuff, because it is a lot more, it's a lot more durable. They also use a different fabric. It's abrasion and snag resistant mesh panels and chest and arms, just giving you more durability when you're freaking doing whatever in the woods. And they got collar design for use with their Leatt neck brace and without. The Ultra Weld jerseys have the same thing. It's kind of their own special collar that you could use with their neck brace or without. The only pro that I could think of is it is more durable. The cons is it's uncomfortable, especially compared to the Ultra Weld that feels like a pillow when you put it on. It's a rough fabric they use for their enduro lineup, but it does last quite a bit. The whole time I was using the enduro pant and enduro jerseys, I never got one hole, and I was getting holes in the Ultra Weld stuff. So that's got to say something. Definitely a lot more durable, but with that comes with some uncomfortableness as well. For me and my body type, it didn't fit that well. I know with gear fitting, different body types can determine how well it fits, but for me, especially compared to the Ultra Weld stuff, it did not fit too well. This isn't really too important regarding how the gear performs, but the colorways certainly aren't as good as the Ultra Weld colorways. I feel like with any enduro colorway that any gear brand uses, they try to make it all
Enduro-y and off-roady and stuff.
I think they're just not the greatest colors. Then there was an inside inseam, like right below my chest, inside of the jersey. The Ultra Weld didn't have this, only the enduro jersey, and it was probably this thick, and it was like the most annoying thing ever off the bike. When I was riding, I didn't notice it that much, but whenever I wasn't riding, when I was gearing up to go ride, it would always be something I noticed. So comparatively to the Ultra Weld, I don't think they're even comparable, but it is much more durable. The last thing that I was using was their Leatt Enduro pant. Same thing, fabric-wise. Something that's really cool is they got ventilation, so like thigh zipper vents. So Ultra Weld didn't have any of that stuff. They also have storage pockets as well. That's one of the main things I love about the Enduro pants. I love having pockets to put my phone, to put a snack, to put whatever I want in, so I don't have to take off my pack and get it. I like that a lot. It's probably one of my favorite features from Leatt, to be honest, when it comes to this pant. So if you need a bigger size pants, I recommend going with the Enduro model because they go up to 44 inches. The pros is they're durable, just like the jersey. Pockets are sick. Big fan of the pockets I just talked about. And vents are pretty cool. People like the vents. Then the cons are it's not too comfortable. That's just what you get with a more durable pant, no matter what the brand is. And that's honestly it. That's kind of my thoughts on all the gear that I used, at least. All in all, super solid brand, super nice gear. Can't really complain much about it. It's super solid. There are some things I'd like to change, but honestly, anything that comes to mind, for the most part, they've changed in their newer model this year. So if you're wanting some quality gear from a company that makes all of it and that actually puts some really good thought into a lot of their products, I recommend you go get some Leatt gear.
I also totally forgot when I was making the video to tell you guys where I got the gear. I got it from a dealership called Cutlers. They're in the Provo and Orem area. Super cool people, super grateful that they were able to supply me with the gear for me to use it and to do a review on it. And for any of your dirt bike needs or even lawnmower needs, they sell lawnmowers as well. Just go there. They know what they're doing.